Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Business Bear Podcast. It's your buddy Connor Norman here checking in with another exciting group of guests here to talk about an awesome new collection of businesses up in our Grantsville area. So today I've got with me Mr. Paul Edwards and Miss Emily Newman-Edwards to talk about the Mountain Grape Tavern, Maple and Vine Market, and the Casselman View Cottages. We're going to hear all of that in just a few minutes, but before we get started, let's talk about what the Business Bear Podcast is. That's right, you can tune in to find out our local businesses are up to, what our local economic development professionals are doing, and what's generally happening in our business community. Be sure to follow us at our Garrett County, Maryland Department of Business Development Facebook page to find out more about when more episodes of the Business Bear Podcast drop, and of course, when that news in your business community is dropping. So, we've talked enough about the episode. We've got through all the dry cleaning. Let's go in and talk to our guests today. Paul, Emily, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great, Connor. We really appreciate you coming to Grantsville and coming to see us here in the best town in Garrett County.
Paul, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, Connor. Thanks for coming down. Always appreciate the opportunity to share what's happening throughout the county, but in this particular instance in our own business.
Absolutely. So I'm excited to come down here. First of all, we talked a little bit before the show. You are the first kind of on-site podcast we've done. Usually we go back to the studio in Oakland, but hey, this is a time where I can come up to Grantsville, stretch my legs, bring the equipment out, and you've got this beautiful surrounding to be doing this podcast today. So thank you so much for having me out here. Give the people a little background about yourselves. Introduce yourselves. Tell them a little about your roles in the new businesses.
My name is Emily Newman-Edwards. I've lived in the Grantsville area since 2010. I started with Savage River Lodge, and that hospitality company branched into what was the Cornucopia Cafe, working under Frontera Resources. So I've been in the hospitality industry in Garrett County for 15 years, but I started in the restaurant industry at the age of 15 because my grandmother owned a restaurant. And so I have worked in a restaurant at every period of my life. I have never left, despite having a bachelor's degree in journalism and digital media and marketing, which I've also done, but I have always, as a side hustle, been in a restaurant. And so for me, it's a natural fit that when the previous owners decided to sell the property, my husband and I jumped on the chance. One, we live in this community. We didn't want to see it shutter up and close, that's what was happening to the previous businesses. But two, it was our chance to kind of do our own thing. We have always talked about doing a Mediterranean, Italian, Greek restaurant, which is really like where my family is Greek, Paul's family is Italian. So it was always a natural fit for us. And so it was exciting, the prospect of doing that and my lifelong dream of owning a wine store. So here I am.
Nice. Awesome. Paul, what's going on?
I think my wife sells herself a little bit short on that as well. She is the general manager of the entire company. She basically runs all the businesses. I prefer to
call myself the CEO.
CEO, we'll go with that. She runs everything here. She also is the mayor of the town, which she neglected to say. And, it's interesting. This property was a vacant property when I was mayor of the town. I worked with Mike and Jan to bring the previous businesses to this property, which Emily then started up and ran. So we were connected to this from the beginning. And Emily's exactly right. When the ownership group and Mike and Jan decided to sell all their businesses and retire, we didn't want to see this go back into dormancy and potentially be a dilapidated property. It's a beautiful piece of property on the Casselman. It's got a lot of potential. And, my role here is basically just to show up and do what Emily tells me to do. Which I try to do is to the best of my ability, but it's a lot of fun. We've enjoyed it. I would lie if I said it wasn't stressful. I have never been in the hospitality industry. I've always been in politics and education, which is a whole different animal. So it's a learning curve for me, but it has been a fun ride, and it's been very educational.
Well, thank you guys so much for sharing. That's so awesome that you were able to not only grow up around these businesses, but retain them when the previous owners moved on and retired. So it was really cool that you were able to step in and take over that role. Now, there was at one time nothing here, and it grew into 4 businesses. So what we're going to do is kind of boil down each one. Tell me a little bit about each element of the businesses you have here. I mean, you've got a restaurant, you've got a shop, you've got a tenant over here that's doing arts and entertainment. Tell us a little bit about Mountain Grape Tavern, and then we're going to work our way down the list.
So Mountain Grape Tavern is a concept that Emily and I have kicked around actually for a couple of years when we were just talking about possible future endeavors, so on and so forth. When this opportunity came along, we had the ability to put it into practice. It is a Mediterranean style restaurant that combines elements of Italian cuisine and Greek. Foods that I grew up on with my grandmother, foods that Emily grew up on with her grandmother and her mom. As well as some Appalachian staples that, just growing up here, that we've all had and shared in. A steak and pasta place, for lack of a better word. We tried to keep it very family friendly. Kids eat free. We have a lot of kids. We know what that's like. Try to keep it affordable. Try to create an atmosphere that is upbeat and fun and that people want to be around. We got a nice little bar over there, and then we have foods that are comfort foods. It's nothing really exotic, although every once in a while we'll dabble in a little bit more of the traditional cuisine of either Greece or Italy, as a special or whatever. Our everyday special or feature is my grandmother's meatball recipe. We also have her garlic bread recipe. And then we have some Emily's family recipes. So it really is what I like about it, and then I'll let Emily talk some more. It truly is a family endeavor. I said at the ribbon cutting that there are a lot of family businesses in Garrett County. That's great, and many of them are generational and have been around a long time and do great stuff. Ours is not generational, obviously. It's new, although I come from I'm a fourth generation business owner now in Garrett County. Emily's, I think, a fourth generation business owner overall. But our kids are involved in this, from my oldest kid all the way to our youngest. My sisters worked here. My niece and nephew have worked here. Emily's mom makes the baklava on site. Emily's dad, sort of our groundskeeper. My mom and dad have worked here. So, and continue to work here. Like, everyone plays a role almost every day. So it's not just a family business, but it's true, like everyone in the family is involved on a regular basis, which I think makes it a little bit special.
Yeah, how cool is that?
Yeah, so when Paul's right, like, we've talked for a long time about wanting this opportunity. We're big foodies. We love food. We love to cook. My mother is an incredible cook. I come from a long line of cooks. My great-great-grandmother, who immigrated in 1913 from the island of Crete, she owned boarding houses. So she immigrated and owned boarding houses, where obviously that's hospitality too. And so through the years between her and my great-grandmother and then my grandmother, there is just a long history of hospitality, and that is something that I've always been really proud of. I am basically a fourth generation female business owner in my family. So my mother owned a business, my grandmother owned a business, my great grandmother had a part in her mother's boarding house. So, and that was all women.
Yeah.
So that was something that, being the first female mayor of Grantsville, that was another way for me to incorporate kind of that strong history of strong women in my family. And so that was really important to me. It's important to me that my children see us in this together, that some days are really hard and some days are really fun. And they're part of all of that, because that's the real life of it. The restaurant industry is not easy, and it's not flush with cash. And so that's something that I think most people that have worked in a restaurant understand. I can't tell you, we've been open now for just about 6 months, and I can't tell you a restaurant that I have worked in that has kept 95% of the staff in a 6 month time frame.
That is so great.
The turnover in restaurants is high.
Yeah.
But not in this restaurant, which has been incredible. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and the other cool thing is our local business, quote unquote, has grown from just the Grantsville, Northern Garrett County region to we have regulars now from Southern Garrett. Lots of people from Cumberland come on a regular basis, Cumberland, Frostburg, all the way to Uniontown and Morgantown. We're seeing repeat, and Johnstown.
Somerset, Johnstown, for sure, Somerset County.
Yeah.
Who were on their regular list of stops now, and they're in a lot. And when we do special events, or when we do what we call our harvest night, when we try to raise money for a local organization, we're seeing those same people come in, even though they don't maybe necessarily live right here in the 21536. They're somewhere within a 80-mile radius, and they come and support us regularly, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have become kind of a community center and hub here for a lot of regions. Not that it wasn't before, but you've really taken the restaurant and expanded it. You've had the energy to put it out in front of more crowds, to do the marketing necessary to bring people around. You've got a unique menu, which is great. You know, it was a wonderful addition to the area. In my opinion, I don't think there's a menu quite like it. I enjoy eating here quite often, but you know, speaking back to that community event, let's kind of drill down into some of the groups that you've been able to attract to come to the area. Let's highlight this community hub bit. So you've got some groups that meet at Mountain Grape. You've got these harvest nights. What kind of organizations are you helping out here?
So for our community harvest nights, we pick one organization a month that we donate to, or that we host a fundraising night where we donate 10% of sales to that organization. Typically, those organizations are able to also bring people with them, their supporters, that kind of thing, and they end up also then making cash donations. So our first community harvest night was with the Northern High School band, marching band. I was a big band kid. I still play instruments. I have always loved that. And so that was important to both Paul and I. Of course, Paul working in the school. We were able to donate $500 to the NHS band.
Cool.
Off of that community night. The second one was for the Grantsville Elementary PTO, an organization I'm also a part of. And we have a $500 check we're presenting to the PTO next week. And so that is another incredible donation. $500 for small school PTO is a chunk of change. Like, we're going to be able to do a lot of good with our students with that money. And then December's community harvest night is going to actually be more of like a community harvest event, because we've chosen a family through Operation Christmas Child to buy presents for. So that is going to be our community harvest donation for the month of December. As we're buying a local Grantsville family. They have 4 kids. We're buying their children Christmas presents. Fits with the theme. And then January.
Well, we're still working on that. I don't think we've decided yet.
February is going to be accident PTO.
Yeah, and I think January with the Deep Creek Dunk coming up and all the things that we do with unified sports and so on and so forth, we're going to try to do something, I think, for Special Olympics. And
Great.
In November, we did a food drive for the food pantry. That was a tremendous success. The community really threw in on that. The government shut down and dealing with SNAP benefits, and people didn't know if their friends and neighbors were going to have food. That was a tremendous turnout. And we're also going to help. We're doing Meals on Wheels over Thanksgiving. But yeah, so we're able to help those groups, which is great. We do have groups that come in and use our space. The Lions Club, as you know, meets at our place through the winter months. We've hosted numerous other meetings.
Grantsville Girl Scouts sometimes end up here.
Oh, nice.
We use the Grantsville Senior Center, but sometimes, like when there's glitter involved, we come here.
Gotcha.
In any organization, a Greater Cumberland Committee has used our space frequently. A lot of meetings take place here with different groups, but we're always available. Arts and Entertainment District. We're always available to help and provide whatever access we can or support we can to help all the organizations that help our community.
We have a great space. We can fit about 35 people with the curtains closed in our room with the fireplace, so it really makes a nice closed off meeting space for people. We hosted the Thriving Communities Partnership. People came from all over the country, actually. We had a small meeting, about 30 people there in the month of October. So yeah, we've hosted a lot of different groups we were really thrilled that Garrett County Hospice chose us to host their annual luncheon last month. That was really special. It was 40 people, the volunteers of hospice, and so we were able to feed them really lovely lunch, and they really loved that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we love to be community partners and really, like, while we don't advertise ourselves as a catering agency, like, we can cater anything. Our chef and culinary director, Martin Galloway, he's a corporate executive chef. He can do anything. So we have done everything from large scale weddings to we've done bereavement dinners. I mean, we do it all. So that's something that I hope that the greater community comes to know and learn in our marketing, that we are able to kind of do it. We can host anything.
Spectacular. So, it really has become an organization that is not just a benefit to yourselves, but the whole community in general, which is really cool just to see what's come around it and what's come out of it. So what is it like, from a personal level, when you get to share these family recipes back into the community and some of the feedback you're getting? Is that cool to see? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'll start with that because my grandmother and anyone in this community in the Grantsville area that is probably 35 and older probably remembers my grandmother. She was a cook at the school for a long time. She was a head cook at Grantsville Elementary School. She ran a restaurant before that in town, and actually a couple of restaurants in town or around town. And then when my mom and dad had a gas station on Friday, she'd always make meatball subs. And so when we got back into this, we wanted to bring that back. And so we brought the meatball sub back. And I can't tell you how many people in the 50 to 70 age range came in just to get the meatball subs.
Nice.
To see if it did indeed taste like my grandmother's. And there was a lot of nostalgia there, which was really cool for me. And then that just sparks conversation about my grandmother and how much everybody loved her, and she was just a fun-loving lady. She lived to be 103. Always had a smile on her face and and laughed. Just an old Italian lady that loved life and loved to share with people, and I think that was infectious, certainly for me, and that's where we're at. But we cook a lot, as Emily said. We always cooked a lot. At home, and it's nice to be able to try things on a grander scale. And working with Martin, who is just unbelievable, you give him an idea and say, hey, I think we should try to make this. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I would do, and then he would make it better because he's just better. And he'd be like, he didn't tinker with our family recipes at all. But when we talk about making, just fill in the blank, whatever. He'd be like, well, I think if we tweak this a little bit, and then you end up with something fantastic.
That's awesome.
Well, and the lasagna recipe is Martin's. Like, people go bonkers over the lasagna. All of the lasagna is totally Martin's, and that's something that in our retail store, Maple and Vine Market, I do sell those carry out. They're in our frozen. We have a stand-up freezer that you can buy Martin's lasagnas to take home.
No way.
Yeah, so that's been really popular too. I've been getting a lot of people stopping in. I have this couple from Morgantown that has now stopped 3 times. I don't know where they're traveling to or from, but they're stopping for frozen lasagnas.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing that is his is our tavern marinara. Our marinara sauce is actually Martin's recipe.
Really?
So people really want that to be some old Italian grandma's recipe, but it's Chef Martin's.
Nice. How long before that's in jars?
Yeah, it is. We sell it in the freezer.
My gosh.
It's frozen in the freezer. Something that's been really impactful for me with my family's recipes is cornucopia was always known for 2 things: their tomato soup and their bean salad. And the bean salad is actually my mother's recipe, and it has been my mother's recipe since cornucopia opened. So we kept the bean salad because we felt like, like that was my mom's recipe anyway. So that's something that's neat to see when people come in and be like, well, we want the bean salad. And I'm like, don't worry, it's still here. Like, that was my mom's. So my mom just said today, we had lunch in the restaurant and she was like, oh, I have to say, like, the bean salad has been spot on. I don't even feel like I have to make it at home anymore. So that was big praise.
Oh my goodness, that's high praise. Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, speaking of the shop, let's kind of transition and talk about Maple and Vine Market. So this has become kind of a hub, not just to get some of the food items and drink items from next door, but also it's become a quite substantial wine shop with an incredible selection. Tell me a little bit about it.
So Maple and Vine Market is kind of my big baby that I am really passionate and have for a long time wanted to really have a career in wine. And so this is my opportunity. I hope to work towards my WSET level 1. The plan was this summer, but with all the other things happening, it kind of got derailed. So I hope to do that in the next year to get that wine certification. But I sell right now, I have about $15,000 in stock of wine, and I have everything from $14 bottles from Bordy Vineyards, which is a Maryland-based winery, to my highest end bottle of wine is $350. It's from Beckstoffer and Napa, and everything in between. I really focus on Italian and European wines, Italian, French, Portuguese. Those are some of the areas I'm really passionate about. Italy in particular. I do have a wine certification through the ITA, the Italian Trade Agency, because I just really love Italian wine. And so every single day I offer free tastings in here. Anyone can stop in at any time and sit down. I have a wine tasting room where we're sitting right now. And anyone can sit down and get three ounce pours for $9 of wine, whether
Wow.
like sweet or dry. And then I also do wine events. This Sunday, of course, is the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and I'm doing a 5-course pairing, 5-course tasting of 5 different wines that pair great with Thanksgiving dinner. Once a month, we do wine walks along the river. So we set up stations along the river. We plan to do them through the winter with bonfires.
Oh, how
So we'll
cool.
have tables along the river in the snow with bonfires. We taste 6 wines for $35. And so it's just been really a passion project for me. I love to talk about wine. I love to drink wine. I love to drink new wines. I've had every single wine in the store. So people will come in and be like, well, have you had this? And I'm able to say, yeah, I
Absolutely.
have. And so I have something for everyone. I have very, very sweet to very, very dry and everything in between. And that's how I actually have my shop laid out, from the sweetest to the driest around the room. So it helps
Excellent.
people they go to the section that they're interested in, and then I'm able, based off of questioning them, what I think. I love finding wine that people like to drink. So I love to find a new favorite for people.
Awesome. So if somebody was coming here looking to maybe do a group event, I understand you have ones that you've planned, but you do private events as well?
100%. I have done them off-site. I've gone to lake homes at Deep Creek Lake, done wine pairings there, wine dinners there, particularly with Chef Martin. We do chef's dinners. But then I can also take up to 19, just any day of the week, drop in wine tastings or
Wow.
pre-booked if they want something a little more than a basic tasting. It works great for bachelorette parties or groups of friends traveling to Deep Creek, anything like that.
Yeah, and the only thing I'll add to Maple and Vine is, for our travelers that are coming in, we've got a lot of people that are starting to make this a stop. We have a single mom who drives her kids to Columbus every other weekend. They stop in here now, whether it's in the store to grab supplies to just go, or in the restaurant to eat. For our visitors that are coming to have second homes at the lake, or they're coming to Deep Creek to vacation, it's a great stopping spot for them, because they can grab a bottle of wine, a little less expensive price point. Even the same bottle of wine, you can get it here maybe a little cheaper than some other places. But also, as Emily said, the provisions, you can take them frozen, you can make them at the place you're renting. Most of them have kitchens, so you can just, if you don't want to go out, and you want to stay in, you can just grab something to have there. But we also have, and what was important to me is we do have a small grocery here of Italian and Greek and really worldwide foods, a lot of pasta. And it was important to me, things that you can't necessarily get just anywhere in Garrett County.
Yeah.
And we got some high-end olive oils and some different types of stuff like that, vinegars and pastas. But we have different price points on that too. So we have some olive oils, and I'll stick with that product. We have olive oils that have won international championships that you can buy, that are fantastic, that are a little higher end on the price point. But then you can buy some other really good olive oils, that you can get for significantly cheaper than the higher price point. So everywhere in between. We have spices here that you can't necessarily get just anywhere. So if you're a cook, if you are someone who cooks, we try to provide things that aren't uncommon in the world scene, but they might be a little less common in the area that we live in, that you can come here and grab it at a price that's not outrageous.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you're looking for those authentic ingredients.
Yeah.
Like you talk about olive oil. I mean, there are so many products out there that aren't legit, that aren't the real deal, but they can come here and get the real stuff.
Yeah, and we have Greek olive oil, we have Italian olive oil, through people that we've actually met and talked to and know. And we also have the Delalo brand, which is made in Jeanette, which is pretty popular in this area, and we carry that specifically because it's approachable and people have seen that name,
of course,
are comfortable with it. It's a good quality. For a little less expensive. So that was important to us, to be able to provide that type of stuff that sometimes when we wanted those products previously, we had to travel a decent distance to find it, or order it online, and pay shipping and everything. But here you can just grab it.
I will die on the hill that olive oil is a better hostess gift than wine. And that is coming from someone that owns $15,000 in wine inventory. But everybody uses olive oil. It makes a great hostess gift to give and either use that night or let the hostess keep. And you don't have to come in here and say, well, I don't know what they drink. I mean, I don't know what they drink. What's a bottle of wine that most people like? Well, when you're talking to someone like me who, I mean, I can direct you for a white or a red that most people are going to drink, but if your grandma is a sweet wine drinker, she's not going to like what I'm going to send home with you, but she's going to like olive oil.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing that's important to me, and I know it's important to Emily too, and I want to make sure we say is, not only do we take a lot of pride in being able to be ingrained and help the community in multiple ways, which we've talked about with both the restaurant and the store, but we try very hard to be an outlet for local products to be sold too. We've partnered with numerous local people, local farms, both here in the store and at the restaurant to retail their products if they're someone that manufactures things. We have split acre maples, maple syrups. A good friend of mine makes maple syrup right here in the town of Grantsville. We sell their products, and I could go down the list. There's literally 10 to 20 products. We've got a collaboration and a partnership with Screech Owl Brewing. They actually brew our house beer. We sell it in cans here in the restaurant or
that's so cool.
In the store, so you can get it to go, and take with you as takeout. So we just have tried really hard to boost the local economy and work with our local partners as much as possible to be an outlet for them to retail their products or use their products and produce in our restaurant.
Nice. We call it a little of this, a little of that, a little far, a little wide.
Yeah, I do food samples every day, sample sell. So right now we are sampling a local maple syrup from Split Acres Maple made right here in the town of Grantsville, a vanilla bean and a bourbon maple syrup from Black Bear Maple Camp, which is in Myersdale, Pennsylvania. Some of their trees do expand into Garrett County. We have Kathy Joe's Ramp Mustard, which is made from Ryan's Glade Farm in Oakland, Pleasant Valley area. We have Costarina Fig Balsamic Vinegar from Greece. We have Lacanico Olive Oil from Greece. I have a Basque Black Cherry Jam from the Basque region of France. And our number one selling product is a Sicilian Pistachio Spread from Italy. So that's all the samples open today.
Nice.
So, and it's different all the time. We do different stuff, but
I can personally attest, you come in, you try them, it will bless your soul. It is fantastic, especially the maple syrups that you guys have. They are phenomenal. And when you think of Maryland, you don't necessarily think of maple syrup. Yeah. You think crabs, Old Bay, the whole nine. But there are 20 maple syrup producers, 20-some maple syrup producers in the state, and 16 of them are here in Garrett County. Yep. And they are seriously the best. Well, not to disparage the surrounding states, but it's kind of Western Maryland's thing.
Between here and Somerset County, Pennsylvania, I mean, I made this statistic up, but it sounds really good, that we have just as many maple producers probably as Vermont. We don't make it on the scale that Vermont does. Our producers are making it a lot smaller. Oh. Somerset County had this long history of maple syrup. The reason that the Pennsylvania Maple Festival was invented as a Pennsylvania Maple Festival queen was because Kate Smith, a well-known radio personality, said Vermont had the best. So Somerset County shipped theirs into New York to her, and she declared that Somerset County had the best maple syrup in the United States.
No way.
So this was in the 40s. So Garrett County it tags in with that, right? This is a huge maple producing area, and people were always really impressed with the bourbon and the vanilla infusions. They make great cocktails. They're great on ice cream. So that's what we try to do. I mean, obviously, we're big foodies, so we only bring things that taste good. So I tell people all the time, well, of course it tastes good. I eat everything in the store.
I'm not trying to elicit the wrath of the maple syrup mafia, but you would be surprised at how much Garrett County syrup and sugar ends up going into that Pennsylvania stuff. I'm just saying. I'm putting that out there. Anyway.
Now you're starting the maple syrup wars.
It's gonna start with me. I'm gonna apologize in advance. So that is so great. Thanks again for sharing about the market. I mean, it's amazing what you can buy here, and I'd encourage everyone to stop by and take a look. What are your hours here at the market?
I'm open 7 days a week, 11 to 4, and I'll be open 7 days through the winter. This is not a seasonal business for me. This is an everyday business. So
great.
Every day 11 to 4. Once we get into next spring and summer, we'll probably extend those hours to 6 or 7, particularly on the weekends. But through the winter, 7 days, 11 to 4.
Excellent. So you can literally stop by 7 days a week, to get some of the best stuff from far and abroad to down here at the local level. Now, speaking of other things here on the campus, you guys have some Airbnbs, cottages. Tell me a little bit about those.
So we right now have a double-story cottage rental. It does sleep 4 adults or 2 adults, and our entire family stayed there. So 2 adults and four children have stayed there. So it's got a full kitchen in it. It has a deck, an upstairs bedroom with a full bath, and then a half bath on the first floor. We are in the process of renovating a second cottage. That one rents from anywhere from $185 to $205 a night. The double story one does. And then we have a second cottage right next door that we are renovating right now presently that will probably be in the $145 range to rent. And it's a single studio. It'll have a queen bed. Kind of a coffee bar setup, not a full kitchen. The double-story cottage does have a full oven and stove in it, dishwasher and everything. So those were, of course, the first cottage was done by the previous owners, and we continued that, but we really saw a need for that. This is the perfect opportunity. You're familiar with the term ski out, right? Like all the homes at West with the ski out access. This is a fish out cottage. So you have fish out access. Okay. You can walk right to the river and fish from this baby to the Casselman River. So we own, of course, 6 acres right here on the river. So we have river access for fishing. It's also just a beautiful location. We have been hosting a ton of girls' getaways, 3 to 4 girls coming up for the weekend. It's a perfect spot. We've been doing wine tastings in the market. And then they've been heading to Mountain Grape Tavern for dinner. So it's kind of really taken on that niche. It's also pet friendly. Both of our cottages will be pet friendly.
Oh, see, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
So it's been doing great through Airbnb, but we also run it through our own website, which is edvenmd.com. We can do direct bookings too.
Oh, great. That's wonderful. So you've kind of built an inclusive experience here where you can eat, you can shop, and you can stay. So I don't think we highlighted this enough, but there's an important piece about all of these businesses and their location. You guys are right here smack dab in the center of the Spruce Forest Artisan Village. Can you tell maybe someone that doesn't know what that is, what is the Artisan Village? What are some things they could expect in this area? Why is the surrounding so important?
Well, to piggyback on what Emily said with the property before we talk about Spruce Forest, the beauty of this property is the river frontage, and both of those cottages do have decks that overlook the river. It is pet friendly, and there's always people down in the field. We maintain the field, so it's we have a big open area down there.
We're a Harvest Host location for RVs, so it's level for them to park down there.
Yeah.
And there's always people with their dogs down there playing frisbee or running them around. It's great fishing. The Casselman's got some of the best fly fishing on the East Coast. We've got a lot of people that come in just to fish. It's great hiking around here. It really is a beautiful piece of property. And you can walk into the river. I mean, if you're not we've got 2 eagles that live down here. We've got some herons that live down here. A lot of wildlife. It's just a beautiful, serene setting. And then so that's facing the river. And then behind us on the National Road, which is literally the old National Pike, the original version is right in front of our restaurant. The Spruce Forest Artisan Village, if you're not familiar, probably, there's all kinds of unique places in Maryland. This is a very unique place in the state. It was the brainchild of Alta Schrock, who was the first Mennonite lady to earn a doctorate degree in the United States. Wow. It is a fusion of history and arts. The Spruce Forest Village is actually old cabins that were abandoned and dilapidated. They were saved by the board of Spruce Forest. They moved them from wherever they were in the county to this spot. One's an old schoolhouse. There's an old, I don't know what else is over there.
Sure. So there's several organizations within Spruce Forest. Besides Spruce Forest being the main one, the Yoder House is the second largest. And so the Yoder House is a 3-story Swiss chalet that was relocated here that is the Yoder Family Museum. So from my understanding, not being a Yoder, anyone with the last name Yoder can find their family lineage in that museum. That genealogy is kept from when they first emigrated here. And so that is an interesting piece because they always have a docent on site. The third floor of that building is the docent apartment. And so even through the winter, there's a docent on site at the Yoder House. And they come from all over the world to take their turn as docent in the Yoder House, which is interesting. There is also the old Compton School, which was the schoolhouse Paul was talking about. There are 2 homes that were relocated by the individual Miller and Hostetler families from their family homesteads. So those are typically visiting artist cabins there. And Spruce Forest, besides the buildings, is home to 8 to 10 artists. Some of them are visiting, but there are 7 permanent artists in the village. And one of them is Gary Yoder, who is a renowned bird carver.
World champion.
He is the world champion ward, which is WARD, the world champion ward carver.
Wow.
And he's right here in the village. I would love to encourage people to go and visit him and buy stuff, but his wait list is 10 years long. So you can't buy anything. But you
Holy
can
smokes.
you can go and see the feathers that he carves that you think you could blow over, but they're actually carved from wood. So it's incredible.
And the cool thing about that is, so all of those buildings, many of them were built in the early 1800s, some of them a little earlier, some of them a little later, but they've been, reconstructed over there, and then they house those artists. So each artist actually works out of one of those historical buildings.
Okay.
But the beauty of that is you take that campus and that village, and you set it right beside the historical Casselman River Bridge, which I could talk about for a half an hour, which was on the National Road, which was the first major public works project this nation's history, which we sit on. And this was the old Tomlinson homestead. So this was built, this market that we're sitting in now, the original house was built in 1870s.
Wow.
Our Airbnbs were the outbuildings.
Chicken coop.
One was a chicken
No way.
coop.
Yeah,
One
the
was,
two-story one was a chicken coop that they
and they've
expanded.
been renovated through the
chicken
years.
palace.
So everything here. Penn Alps was, before it was Penn Alps, it was the Dixie Tavern. Before
It was Little
that.
Crossings Inn.
It
The
was
original
Little
building was the
Crossings
Little
Inn.
Crossings Inn in the 1700s.
So there, and then you've got Stanton's Mill, and so everything here is historic, as well as then in the retail and hospitality industry. But every building has a story to itself.
Yeah.
And there's just and this area dates back before the country was formed. This was the crossing point, Little Crossings, for Braddock and Washington and that whole thing in the French and Indian War, which predated our nation's history. But they crossed right here. I mean, Braddock's Trail is right to the left
George
of us
Washington
as we speak.
slept here. Right, like George Washington camped here. We know that he camped down in this field.
The whole expansion of the country followed. The National Road was here because of Braddock's Trail. Braddock's Trail was here because of Nemacolin's Path. So this area has seen a tremendous amount of history that many people will never even know about because it's just been lost. But it's a unique place to be.
Yeah.
We're just glad to be a small piece
You want to come dig up Native American arrowheads, you've come to the right place because they're littered in this bank, along the bank down here, because this would have been one of the areas that the Native Americans that traveled from Wills Creek, and then they came up the Casselman in the summer, and then they went back to Wills Creek in the winter. The Iroquois, the Algonquin tribes, they all settled in this area.
That is so cool.
So it's got a really rich history, and that's something that we're excited to be a part of. Is something new, right?
Yeah.
But still steeped in this big history between the incredible artisans. Alta's whole mission was to bring art to the masses, art to people that couldn't traditionally afford it, to take it away from the bourgeois and give it to the everyday person. And so that Spruce Forest Artisan Village is free to walk through and walk in every day of the week to see artisans doing their craft. Now, certainly you can spend some cash to buy something, and we hope you do, but it's always available, it's accessible. And that's something that has been just for 50 years with Spruce Forest, and now joining as part of that, it's a natural stopping point for people.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite, I'm the mayor, okay, so I know more than the average person, but one of my favorite people to be on a daily basis is the docent, because all my lights are on, my flags are out, people get to me first in Maple and Vine Market, and they come in and say, what is there to do in this town? And I get to say about all of the incredible things between us and Spruce Forest and Casselman Creamery and Margaret at Blue Moon Antiques, who has an incredible antique selection, and Whispering Pines and Springs. I mean, I send them all over the place. And so it's such a privilege to be able to get to do that for people. And tell them why our area is such a gem. And we just happen to be part of, and again, I will say, the best town in Garrett County.
You guys have really built something very unique here. Again, there's so much you can do within quick walking distance around here. And then there's a lot to do in the town in general. So you guys have added something very new while preserving this history. So you're still very steeped in that, but also get to see so many unique things like the artisans, and you can stay right here in the center in the Casselman View Cottages, which is spectacular. And again, where did you say they could book those? They can book them
either through Airbnb or direct on our website, which is edven, edvenmd.com, Edwards Ventures. So that's something that I think once you stay here, you understand that this isn't a stopping over point. This is a destination.
Oh, definitely.
We're a destination. Grantsville is a destination. And we're happy to be part of that.
So speaking of Spruce Forest and some of the cool things that are happening, there are some big events coming up here around the holiday season. I understand you've got a big Christmas event coming up. What's going on there? Tell me a little bit about it.
Christmas in the Village is in its 48th or 49th year. We can't really decide because of the COVID year. Kind of screwed us up on the count. But it's almost coming up to 50 years, and it's an incredible Christmas event that happens, started by Spruce Forest and is now campus-wide. It is, think of a German-style market with outdoor vendors and the beautiful twinkly lights everywhere and Christmas carolers, and that's what is dropped right here in the town of Grantsville on the first weekend annually of December, which this year is December 5th and 6th. So December 5th from 4 to 8, which with the town tree lighting being at 7 p.m. And then December 6th on Saturday from noon to 8, we are going to have tons of artisans, probably between the regular artists at Spruce Forest, the visiting artists with Spruce Forest, the artists with the gallery at Grants 2 and the Red Barn, and the Grantsville Arts and Entertainment District artists, probably over 20 to 25 artists doing their craft, selling their craft.
Cool.
The market will be open. We're doing a special Christmas wine feature. I have some German wine in Christmas bottles, Christmas tree-shaped bottles, and then I also have some really beautiful Italian Christmas wine with classic Italian Christmas labels on them. So we're going to do a big wine event here that weekend. Of course, the artisans will be in. There'll be live music in the church during that time frame the entire time. There'll be carolers throughout the park or throughout the village, and then we also have the trolley service from the town park.
Yeah, and we'll have, the trolley's really neat, and it's a collaboration with Mountain Lake Park, and want to give a shout out to them, and it's just a nice add to what's happening here. On our campus, we'll have the bonfire going, we'll have fires outside, we'll have some vendors. It's not all just art, there's also some, handmade, locally made goods and things of that nature. So you can come here that weekend and, you can eat some good food. You can, there's a lot of giveaways. Different businesses, different artists are giving stuff away. Of course, our restaurant will be open. You can buy stuff in the shop here. All the artists will be there. Penn Alps will be open with their gift shop. There's just a ton of stuff here. Unique things that you can't necessarily buy on Amazon. You almost have to go out and buy it. So, it's really cool. It's packed. There are literally hundreds to thousands of people in the 2 days that just kind of mill around. It's amazing that many people can fit on this little postage stamp of ground for 2 days. And, but it's the closest thing to a European market, old school Christmas market you're going to find probably in, anywhere, at least in the immediate tri-state area. It's really cool.
Well, you can't buy that Christmas magic and Christmas feeling on Amazon. You might be able to.
Exactly.
The feeling of being here with all the twinkly lights and the music and people really in the Christmas spirit, festive and enjoying themselves. Like it's a must-do event. And we get people from Pittsburgh, from Hagerstown, from Baltimore that annually are coming out for this.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think to your point, in the vastly gentrifying world, it just seems like you can buy all the same stuff online. Here you can come get a very unique gift at the market. And while you're here, you can enjoy the history. You can enjoy the good food next door. And, I keep threatening to do this, but I am eventually going to rent a cabin over Christmas in the Village. Because it will be the best spot to be for those 2 days. Because then you don't have to fight traffic. You don't have to leave, not that that's going to be an issue, but I just need to do it. I need to book it and just enjoy it because it's going to be awesome. But anyway, thank you for sharing about that. I mean, that's a big deal coming up, and it sounds like that you guys are going to be on fire here at the campus. You're going to be firing on all cylinders, rather, and
Yes.
you're going to be ready to enjoy the crowds and provide something wholly unique.
Yeah, I think it is always a big event. This will be our first year being part of it because it's our first year being open over Christmas. I'm expecting our businesses to be very busy because the whole campus is going to be busy, and it's just going to be a great atmosphere. I know our staff's looking forward to it. They've been talking about gearing up for it. We're looking forward to it.
Well, I think we've kind of gone over a lot today, and for many of our listeners, they may be looking at where they can go to find out more information. Do you guys have Facebook pages? Do you have websites? Let's hear it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, who are you in the world if you don't have a Facebook page in this day and age? But Facebook, Instagram, our website again, Edven, which is short for Edwards Ventures, EDVENMD.com. But definitely, Facebook and Instagram is the place to find us. Mountain Grape Tavern, Maple and Vine Market, Casselman View Cottages. We're all on there. And that's where we post our events. We just had an awesome trivia night last night. We have a very fun spring trivia, winter to spring trivia coming up with yours truly this spring. We're doing Breakfast with Santa on December 20th. I don't know. I've been being harassed from people in the community about doing a New Year's Eve party. So we'll see. We might end up with a New Year's Eve party.
I like that.
But at the very least, through December, we do have a couple fun events between the trivia. We always do locals night on Thursday nights. That's when it's kind of hopping around here. We do local features. Wednesday nights is our that's Amore ravioli nights. It's kind of a build your own ravioli bowl. Different ravioli options, protein, sauce options. So, and then Sunday we have game day features. And I'm told we have great chicken wings. So, and we've got cold beer. So.
Oh,
Yes, most importantly.
most importantly.
To throw that back out there, we do have an interesting collaboration with the great people at Screech Owl that did a maple ale with us. We're the only place you can get it. As far as I know, it is available to retail from other establishments, but it is called the Mountain Grape Tavern.
Oh, cool.
Ale. And we got a lot of great feedback on it. It's very much like everything else we try to do here. It's very unique. I think it's very tasty. It's kind of growing a somewhat of a cult following. But again, it's great to work with local folks to be able to put that on. We have it on tap every day, all day in the restaurant, and then we have it in cans for takeout over here at the store.
And I have tried it. It is awesome. That's one of the hardest things about running these interviews is you always have to pretend like you don't know or you haven't tried stuff because, you're introducing it to people for the first time. But let me tell you, it is a great experience. It's great food and fantastic beverages. You're going to want to get there and try it out. Again, you're going to want to come down to the Mountain Grape Tavern. You're going to want to see the Maple and Vine Market. You're going to want to stay at the Casselman View Cottages. Come down here and enjoy this experience. So, guys, at the end of every episode, I kind of open up the mic. Maybe you want to reiterate some of the things we talked about. Maybe you want to throw some announcements out there. This is your time. Paul, Emily, we've had a great episode so far. What do you got to say?
So for those of you out there listening in the ether, we hope that you come and see us. We are here every single day, both Paul and myself. We want you to stop us. We want you to say hi. We want you to tell us that you heard about us in this awesome podcast. This is my first podcast I've ever done. So I hope my voice is so melodious. But we're excited to continue this. And we see this for us being a real generational project. Like at the very least, our kids are going to be forced to do it through the time they're teenagers. We'll see after that.
You have future employees, guaranteed.
Yeah,
That's right.
but we intend to be here for a long time, and it's only through the support of our local community that we're able to do that. And so it's been nice to be here, but we look forward to the future and what else it brings.
Awesome. Well said.
And I would just add, I think if you haven't been here, we'd love to see you. And again, Emily and I are here, at least one of us every day. We try to interact with people. That's part of the fun of this for me is just to get to meet new people and just make new friends and the whole thing. But first and foremost, I think to me, the big thing with this is an opportunity to give back and be a gathering place for the community to enjoy good times and bad. As Emily said, we've had bereavement dinners here, we've had birthday dinners here, we've had anniversary dinners here. So we've celebrated the whole gamut of people's lives. We try to support the community the best we can in every way that we can, because that's what it's all about for both of us. We've dedicated our lives to community service in multiple ways. I think we have great food, and it's just been a real fun endeavor so far in this young business experience. We've got great staff. We get a lot of compliments on our staff. I know Emily mentioned that earlier, but I don't think you can say that enough in this day and age, especially in this industry. We've just got some really good people working for us, which I think helps just enhance the experience of being here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. This has been an awesome show. Super informative. I'm looking forward to going over there to have dinner myself. I'm looking forward to seeing the many people and hearing the stories and the adventures people come here to have at Mountain Grape Tavern, at the Casselman View Cottages, and of course right here at the market. Thank you guys again for coming on the show. Appreciate having you. And for all of those listening, if you want to stay tuned with more episodes of the Business Bear podcast, be sure to follow us at our Garrett County, Maryland Department of Business Development Facebook page. We have a LinkedIn, we have a Twitter or X, whatever Elon's calling it these days. We are now on Instagram. Be sure to follow us there. It's a wonderful platform. We want to keep that going. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's your host, Connor Norman here, folks, and I will see you on the other side.